and welcome back to another episode of Generation Sports. It's your boy, the monster on the mic, Shik Monster. And that's right, sports are back, baby, and so am I. And I've been so excited to be able to tune in all weekend and see all the highlights, all the games, and all the action from around the sporting world. I got a great episode in store for you guys today. I'm going to talk a little bit about basketball, a little bit about baseball, and then I got something special for you guys in the overreaction section. So without further ado, let's kick it off. So first, I just want to talk a little bit about sports in general and what it's like to have them back. It's been very entertaining. It's been very nice for me to have something to turn into on a daily basis and be able to enjoy. It's put me back onto ESPN and different sports broadcasts that are going on and be able to find something enjoyable to kill my time with. And hopefully this is something enjoyable that you guys are going to take your time out to watch and listen to and follow. Just a reminder, if you're watching me on YouTube, go ahead, hit that notification bell, hit that subscription, and let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below about this episode or anything you want to talk about or anything you want to hear. So, and sports have been hugely entertaining. I find myself watching sports more now than I did before. I find myself engaged in it. Baseball, basketball, two sports that I love the playoff format, but I've never been huge on viewing the regular seasons. I find myself intrigued and wanting to watch. And I think that was because of COVID. We've been without things for so long that we took it for granted. And now that it's back, I'm trying not to take it for granted. And I'm trying to be more tuned in and more recognizing of what's going on throughout the leagues. So I find myself just watching constantly more and more content than I ever have before. So one of the contents that I usually didn't watch a whole lot of that I've caught myself tuning into was basketball. Now, the problem with basketball right now is that they only have like 8 real games, they're saying, until the playoffs start. So it's almost like a preseason. And you could tell it's almost like a preseason feel because there's a lot of sloppy play. So when I'm watching these games, I'm seeing a lot of missed shots, a lot of turnovers, more than I've ever seen before. And it's a little hard to watch at times, but it's still very, very, very entertaining. One of the great things about these games that have been on is they've been very close at the end. There's been a couple overtime games already, last minute shots, different things of that nature that has really kept me engaged. And I think it was really awesome. But the one part that's hard is, how do we kind of figure out who's really the true contender? There are teams that are great that are missing players. There are teams that have their whole team with them who look good right now in these 8 games, but nobody's really putting their full foot forward, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's really out there trying their hardest, especially the teams like the 2 LA teams or these teams that know they're in the playoffs. They know they're going to get there. And so they're kind of just saving it up. They're getting some practice games in, and they're just trying to, find their footing a little bit. But there's 2 teams so far that have really stood out to me in basketball that I think people need to watch out for. And that's going to be the Toronto Raptors and the Houston Rockets. 2 teams who are overcoming adversity, who aren't always playing well, but finding ways to win. They're teams who look really, really good right now. And so I'm telling you guys, you got to keep an eye out for them because they could make a push in those playoffs and they could disrupt some teams if they're not ready. Now, a couple of the games I've watched, obviously, LA, the Lakers. Who can't watch the Lakers? You just got to tune in and see what they're doing. And LeBron and AD, when they're playing their hardest and they're on point, man, they are looking good. I watched the game against the Clippers the other night. Man, AD was knocking down threes at the end of that game, left and right. LeBron was putting on that lockdown D. He had that little putback at the end of the game to win it for him. And then he went back on the other end of the court and he shut down Kawhi and then shut down oh, man, the other guy's name slipped my mind. I apologize. And they just locked Paul George. That's it. Locked down Paul George and just made him put up a tough shot to be able to win the game. And obviously, they're going to be most people's favorites, but they're definitely my favorite to win it all. But like I say, don't sleep on Houston. Don't sleep on the Raptors in the East. Those are teams that can come out and make some damage. I mean, they made the Lakers look silly when they played them the other night. So those are some teams you got to watch out for. Those are some teams that I think could catch fire and really do some damage out there. But overall, basketball's done it right. I mean, you got to take your hats off to them. The bubble's working. People aren't out there running the streets doing stupid shit. They're staying where they're supposed to be. They're making the sacrifice for the betterment of the league, for their paychecks and everything else, and they're putting on a show. And I think they're doing some really amazing things with the virtual stands. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but if you watch the NBA games, the home team gets to pick like 300 people and they can log on their computer. It's like a Zoom thing, and they're able to participate, and they put them up in the stands. And you get to see all these people watching the game on their computer, and they get to interact with each other, which is really, really cool. I think it was a great idea by the NBA to get people involved. Jason Tatum's son was on it. We had Paul Pierce on it during the Celtics game. That was kind of cool. Like, there's some really awesome aspects that they're implemented that really, to me, can get more people involved, get more people wanting to watch. And I think they're doing a really great thing. And my hats go off to the NBA. You guys just got to keep on rocking it. And hopefully these playoffs come and they're going to be pretty awesome, because super excited for it. The next sport on the topic is, of course, baseball. That's the other sport that's back. They were first back before anybody else, but now they're in full effect. And boy, oh boy, are things just a little, I don't even know how to say it. They're a little shaky out there in the baseball world. I will say there are some good things coming from this pandemic when it comes to baseball, though. Number one, I think the speed of the game's gotten faster. I mean, I don't know the actual time of length of game or anything like that, but I do think that it seems like, from me watching it personally, that the pace of the pitchers have sped up. They get the ball back, they line up, they throw the ball down there. There's not so much standing around, so much hem-hawing. They're just getting to business, which is really, really good for the sport, and I think it's really more entertaining when you're watching on television. The other thing that I think that more stadiums need to get into, the Dodgers were doing it, and there's some other stadiums doing it too, but I like the cardboard cutouts. That's just me personally. I think the cardboard cutouts should be in all stadiums. It just sucks when I'm watching my Yankees and it's just a bare empty stadium, nobody in the seats. It just seems hollow, and it almost takes away from some of the atmosphere. And I know it's subconscious and it doesn't make sense, but when I'm looking at those cardboard cutouts in like Dodger Stadium and some of these other stadiums, it just makes me feel like people are there. It's alive and it's a vibrant sport again. And I think that's something that's really, really cool, especially with everything else going on in MLB and then baseball. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but they got to figure some things out. So in order to take away from all the bad, you got to focus on the good with baseball. I think that's where they're going to be able to hit that next level. And I know I'm wearing the jersey, I'm wearing the hat, and y'all going to think I'm some homers. But the bottom line is, right now, baseball needs to focus on the Yankees. The Yankees are out to a red hot start. They're 6-1 or 7-1, if I'm not mistaken. They just swept the Red Sox for that series. And I know the Red Sox aren't great, so I get that. But they're out there and they're putting themselves in a position to be the forefront for baseball, to be able to have a great story. And the great story is that you're one of two people usually if you're a baseball fan. Oh, it's this side, by the way. One, you love them like I do, or two, you hate them. But either way, you want to hear about it, right? You want to hear about their lows and their woes, or you want to hear about their amazing comebacks and their wins. But either way, you got to put Yankees at the forefront and get the topic away from COVID and all the things the Marlins caused, and now some reports with the Phillies and some other teams out there. Like, you got to be able to do that and get away from that. The star of baseball right now that needs to be promoted more than anything else is Aaron Judge. Whether you like him or hate him, this dude is on fire. Okay. He's hit 6 home runs in the last 5 games. He has a hitting streak of home runs, 5 straight games. And every home run this guy's hit has either been to tie or take the lead in the game. So these aren't meaningless home runs. It's not like they're down 5 runs and he just hits a home run. Okay, boom, he got 1 run, no big deal. Or they're up by 6 runs and he hits a home run and it's okay, now you got a 7th run. Okay, no big deal. No, these are impactful plays. He's walking up to the plate with confidence. I was listening to him on the broadcast last night when I was watching the game, and I don't know if it was A-Rod who said it or not, but when he steps to the plate, this is a confident young man out there right now. He has confidence, ability to find the ball, hit the ball, and knock it a long way. And man, it is awesome watching it. Last night, this dude hits a home run to tie the game, comes up in the 8th, knocks one out for a 2-run shot to take the lead and give the Yankees the push. And I'm telling you, you got to promote him. You need stars in baseball, and Mike Trout's on his way back, and he should be the face of the sport. But until then, Aaron Judge needs to be this face of this sport. He right now is on a tear. He's on a killing streak. He is confident. He says the right things. He does the right things. He's an example for the youth. This is somebody that we need to spend more attention to, and we need to give more attention on. So with that being said, and talking about baseball a little bit, that's where I'm going to go ahead and jump into my next segment, which is the one we had talked about last week and everything like that. So without further ado, let's go.
They wanna shake things up, but we got it under control, yeah. They thought I was all shook up, but I got it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm on a roll.
Oh yeah, I'm about to be on a roll right now because this segment, once again, is called the overreaction, where you're damn sure that every reaction I'm about to talk about is going to be an overreaction. So first and foremost, my overreaction is baseball will be canceled. Baseball is not going to finish, okay? And let me tell you why. Because the players, and not all of them, so understand what I'm saying, but the players don't care enough, okay? You have people out there doing things that they're not supposed to be doing. They're not keeping themselves quarantined on their off days. They're not staying away from people who could be out there contracting the virus. They're not going from work and home like they need to be doing, and the Marlins show it, okay? Because you're trying to tell me that if the Marlins franchise was doing what they're supposed to be doing, regardless of the outbreaks out there, that these guys are going to contract the virus? No way in hell. Not happening. The problem is you're dealing with a lot of young kids, a lot of individuals who are out there wanting to live their life. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of free time. So they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. And they're putting not only themselves, not only the training staffs and the workers, but they're putting the league in jeopardy. And it's not right. You guys need to get your act together and you need to stop what you're doing. Stay home, go to work. That's it. That's what the majority of America is having to do right now. Okay. That's what I'm having to do right now, which is why I'm on here speaking to you guys in the middle of the afternoon, because I can't be out there running the streets because I'm not going to put my family at risk. I'm not going to put my career at risk, my job at risk, because I just want to go and get a drink, or I want to go to a titty club, or I want to go get some wings or whatever the shit is from that freaking basketball player or whatever. Like that shit ain't happening. Right. Do your due diligence and keep people safe, because it's not about you. The thing that I hate is you're not the one who's being harmed. It's everybody around you. You put the harm of the Phillies team in jeopardy. You're putting the harm of other players in jeopardy, and it's not fair. And this is why I say that if football does start, it will never finish. There's no way in hell football is going to be able to finish the season with the way these players' mentalities are. And I have a fact that I can share with you. I will not release this player's name, because that's not what I'm about. But I will tell you, yesterday while I was at work, an NFL player walked into my store. I am in a store that has a lot of people in it, okay? Don't worry about my profession or anything like that. Just know I'm in an environment where there is a lot of people around. This guy walked in with this girl who had no reason having to come to the store to make a purchase. Do it online, okay? Do a store pickup, delivery to home, whatever you got to do. Don't walk in the store. And this dude's in the store, an NFL player who has not opted out, mind you, okay, putting himself at risk of catching something. So what happens when he goes back to practice for training camp and he joins his team? And now he was just in a freaking store with all these people out and about on a day off on a Sunday. And now you put yourself at risk. Now you're putting them at risk. Now you're putting your coaches, your teammates, you're putting NFL at risk because you're all being selfish. All these players, all they are is selfish. They don't want a bubble. They don't want to deal with being away from their family. But you got idiots like this out there running around doing shit he shouldn't be doing. Okay, I recognize him because let's be honest, he's not a no-name player. He is very famous. He's had a great career in the NFL. And so I instantly recognized them because in the NFL, you really only see this much of their face anyway. They got their helmets on most of the time. So the mask doesn't hide who you are. That doesn't cover it up for a true NFL fan. You didn't fool me when you're walking through the store, okay? And like, oh, I don't know who you are. Of course I know who the hell you are. This is all I see of you whenever I watch the games. What the hell are you thinking? This is why the NFL needs to mandate that there has to be a bubble. Granted, the season might look shitty. We might not have a lot of players, right, joining it. But guess what? We don't have a lot of players in it now. 8 Patriots opted out. And as much as I hate the Patriots, I want to see those players on the field. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to see them saying, oh, well, we had all these people not there, so that's why we didn't do so well this year. I want there to be an even competitive playing field. So what you have to do is you have to create a bubble. Keep players mandated to be in training camps. I heard somebody else say it, and I'm saying it too. Keep them in their training camp format. If you want to play this season, you can't go home. Your family wants to come visit you, great. They get tested. They pass those COVID tests. They come onto your campus where you're doing training camp, and they get to spend time with you. They get to see you. Here's an idea. Cut the season down like every other sport's done. Don't play all 16 games. How about that? Play 8 games. You know what? I'd rather have a full 8-game season than a 4-game season that never finishes, or even an 8-game season that doesn't finish. You cut the season down to 8 games, right? Which is about 2 months. And then you have the playoffs, which guess what? Is approximately about another month. You ask them to make a sacrifice for 3 months. The NBA players are doing it. And look how successful their league is for doing that. There are ways that you guys can compromise to make it work. But all I'm hearing about in the NFL right now is this guy got put on COVID-19 IR. This guy got put on COVID-19 IR. Hell, freaking Doug Peterson, the coach for the Eagles, just got tested positive for COVID. Like, come on, people. What are we thinking? Do we actually think this shit's going to last if people keep on doing the same habits they're doing? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. There's no way in hell that baseball or football can continue to operate in this format and expect there to be a season. I don't see it. I don't know how you see it, but I want you to let me know, because maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong, and I know all of you with your wishful thinking are going to say I am, but the bottom line is baseball's not going to make it. Football's not going to make it, and we got to tell these players out there they got to change their habits. They got to change their behaviors, and it starts now. Guys, this was just a quick little tidbit I want to get in. Sports over the weekend. I want to talk to you a little bit, tell you about what was on my mind, because, man, I had to get that shit off my chest, and boy, does it feel good. So do me a favor. Once again, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong about baseball being canceled. Let me know if you think I'm wrong about the NFL maybe not even getting to start. And if they do start, never having a chance to finish the season. Let me know what you guys think. And then last thing I want to say is don't forget golf is back as well. And there is a Masters tournament, the PGA Championship over in San Francisco that's going to be on this weekend. Go check that out. I'm an avid golf player, golf lover. I want to watch golf, but the problem is I'm never around when it's on because of work and things like that nature. But go check out golf. Check me out very soon. Like I said, I know it delayed it. I will be on iTunes. I will be on Spotify. But until then, keep on tuning in. Keep on showing me your love and keep on showing me your support. And I am out.
Gotta climb to the top, but never